This is a new app. No.
They're all.
No, new.
No.
Yeah, is it true? I have two.
Yeah, that's the one. Everybody's got it. This is the whatever it was.
It's yours now.
Yeah, of course. So what? This is our legal counsel. He wants from his situation. You said that yes, at first, and you're still in the authority. They need to do it because they want to. Because I'm sure of my experience of that. Okay. Because I'm trying to introduce them.
Just needs to go through legislature.
Yes. The legislature will vote on your nomination. It's true fact competition. And that's voting. So right now we have. This is the Guam Board of Allied Health Examiners. Today's date is November 30th, 2012. Calling the meeting to order. Present at the meeting today are Dennis Triolo, Sybil Crisostamo, Greg Miller, Linda Perez, Liz Peretta, Velma Harper, and myself, Amy Malahaja. Also present are our legal counsel, Assistant Attorney General David Highsmith. At this point, I'd like to introduce a new appointee to represent podiatry by the governor. This is Dr. Maria Sangalang. Dr. Sangalang was at the legislature on Thursday, the 29th, for a confirmation hearing. So Dr. Sangalang will join us as board member, but because we need to have a confirmation by the legislature, she will not participate in the voting.
Yeah, how do you say it?
Sangalang. What did I say? Okay.
Okay.
First, let's go into the adoption of agenda. The agenda is in front of you. Is there any item that is not listed that you would like for discussion to be adopted in the agenda?
Yes, the subject of licensees that are paid twice.
Did you see the? Okay.
I sent an email around this morning.
Did you see the miscellaneous on the agenda?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other is on the agenda? Any item that you would like to be included? No? Then let's move forward to the minutes for review and approval. Please take a review the minutes of October 5, 2012, which was the last meeting.
Make it a little bit more clear under old business A.
Business aid.
Old business. We're talking about minutes of the last meeting.
Yes.
So the way it reads it, it says Mr. Jackson with the semicolon. I think it'd be ideal to put that whole paragraph in quotes so we know for sure it's him speaking.
Okay.
That's the
Quoting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we put quotes around after Mr. Jackson and then
Because there's the two parts of it that Mr. Jackson spoke. Okay, then at the bottom, on the second line, right, bottom second,
Yeah.
also quotation, is that what you want?
yeah, just as long as whatever he says. Because if you pick it up and kind of read the middle, it sounds like it's a board observation. It's actually him reporting to the board.
Okay. So the quotation will be the third line, starting deposition, and quote, unquote, Dr. Martinez on the fourth line. Then it start with quote again before the police report. And then unquote would be the second page judge, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Any other,
I just wanted to add under the adoption of agenda, where it states the Code of Ethics. It's the National Board for Respiratory Care and also the Association of Respiratory Care, the American Association for Respiratory Care.
so you want to include what now?
The American Association for Respiratory Care, AARC. That's where our Code of Ethics is.
Yeah. Okay, and
That's it.
what else? American Association for Respiratory Care.
No, American Association for Respiratory Care. Here it says American Medical Association. I think that changed that, but I'm not sure what the new name is for that association.
Because that came from Article 20.
Yeah.
Read Article 20 of AMA is being quoted. Okay. Okay.
But
So
currently-
you want to include American Association of Respiratory Care, which provides the code of
Code of
ethics
ethics.
and code of conduct, right?
Yes.
Okay, we'll include that, right? So I'll change that. Any other correction or addition?
So I'll move the minutes be adopted as amended.
Second. Okay, we go to old business pertaining to disciplinary case 12002, matter of Dr. Martinez. Mr. Highsmith?
We have a completed transcript from Bill Zaka's deposition, and all we really need to do is set a trial date. The case will get ready for trial. I believe Mr. Jackson is wanting to interfere today.
And so, oh, you're ready.
Hiding. Board want to set a trial date today. It's got to be sometime after the first of the year. I suppose we've got a lot to do this month.
Is any conversation between you and Mr. Jackson since 2 meetings ago?
No.
You wanted to discuss that first, and then,
Well,
and then
it's
next month.
completely up to the board. We can talk and try to arrive at a tentative date for the process.
Because if we set, and then if it's not workable for both of you, you know, that's going to be a problem. So perhaps that we can set a trial date that is agreeable with all parties.
Okay.
So the transcript is, should that be disseminated electronically or hard copy or?
I will, I have to serve a copy on Mr. Jackson before I do anything else.
Oh,
I think it's better if I don't disseminate it as evidence. It really ought to be held in advance.
Okay, so we'll just wait for your instructions.
Okay. So let's move on to number 2, status of the decision order of honorable. This is Jeff Pedrelli on the stay of petitioner. Excuse me, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, I just want to note that it was just served this morning, but we actually compiled a bunch of deposition excerpts from Isaac based on the deposition. And I believe before we start setting hearing dates, I think it would behoove the board to at least read what we prepared and read the deposition, because I think that after the board reviews the deposition, they might not even want to go forward with the merits hearing.
Who did you serve it on?
The board, and we CC'd you, it was just this morning. We didn't serve the board the deposition itself, just excerpts of it and just.
Well, I kind of have a problem in that. We're trying to keep I just said we're trying to keep the evidence quiet until the trial. I mean, some attorneys would have a conniption over that. Anyway, I think we've said enough about this for this hearing, and I'll talk to Aaron in the near future about the trial date.
The copy that was served on this board, who has it? This is the big.
Right,
Okay, so Mr. Heisman will take care of this right now.
Okay, I'll just
This is for your
take this as my
possession
possession.
right now.
Nobody's seen it.
No, I mean, I don't even know what it is until you mention it. So shall we then move forward in the next meeting that we will have, the board then will act on it. In the meantime, you and Mr. Jackson
Yes.
will confirm with each other.
Very good.
Thank you. Let's
The
move
next
on.
meeting is when, December 14th?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Yeah, well, because the holiday is 7. It's the 7th.
Okay.
14th. Because the 8th is a holiday. So the holiday will be 7, supposed to be 7, but cannot do it because of holiday.
So we're going to go on the 14th and the 28th?
Yes.
14th.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, the more time to review the
So
application.
it's 2 more meetings for the.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So the 14th, Okay, could, on the, Dr. Jack, on the James case, could we move to status of the decision order on the status of the state?
June 18th, Judge Cordelia stayed the decision of the board regarding Dr. Joseph. He ordered some briefing to be done, and there was a hearing, I believe it was in August. And the judge has left the stay in place now for almost 6 months. My office is contemplating taking action about the stay. We're disappointed by the fact that the judge granted it in the first place and then has not ruled on whether it's legally appropriate for 6 months. So that's how things stand. The decision of the board is still stayed, and we're still waiting for Judge Word from Judge Cordelia. And I just would appreciate if the board would vote to authorize our office to take whatever legal means are necessary or advisable in regard to the Joseph matter.
So you're saying this could go faster, it could take forever?
Yes.
And so by authorizing this, we just help to expedite?
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah. No guarantees, right?
There's no guarantee, no.
So Jeff, does that indicate any indication as to the time frame when he might come up with a ruling?
No, the judges usually don't.
He just said, put it under advisement and notice.
Yes.
Discretion of the board judge, right?
Time lapse.
However, the record is up, it's been certified. So we really ought to be scheduling a hearing on the merits before too long.
Oh, talk about the minutes of the hearing has all been completed and forwarded to the transcripts, I'm sorry, have been forwarded to the judge.
Transcripts
It's all
of the
completed.
Yes.
Because that was a
Filed in
situation.
court.
Okay, it's filed. Fine. Finally, I think we need to thank the lady for completing the task. It's a giant. What action are you advising the board to do?
Just authorize us to take whatever legal means are necessary to expedite this case or to take action regarding the case.
Could I have a motion?
Yeah, make a motion.
What's the motion? Could we repeat the motion for the record? To allow.
To authorize the Office of the Attorney General to expedite pending court case or to take whatever action is legally necessary or advisable regarding the enforcement of
Yeah.
the court's decision regarding Dr. Washington.
Could we vote on the motion? That's been seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Discussion? None. So the board voted and passed to authorize the Attorney General's office to initiate whatever action necessary to move on the state. Responded.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, on the next on the agenda is application of Robert Zimmerman, as you recall, who had applied for IMFT license, and that there's a discrepancy on the date of his graduation, and the main primary concern was his internship hours that he put in, that he was supervised by Dr. Hoffer, clinical psychologist, Dr. Leon Guerrero, psychiatrist. That happened years ago, we don't even know what date. And there was no documentation to show the clinical hours provided. And when this was brought to his attention that the two clinical supervisors needed to provide documentation. He then asked a local IMFT licensee, Dr. Ed Santos, who is present today, to write him a letter to attest that he had clinical hours, the required clinical hours. How many hours? 1,500. And there was also a concern because Dr. Santos was also the person that Mr. Zimmerman put in for a reference. So we have asked we have given notice to Mr. Zimmerman and Dr. Santos to appear before the board at the next meeting, which is today. And Dr. Santos is present to explain his position on the letter that he provided to Mr. Zimmerman, to answer any board's question. However, I understand that Mr. Zimmerman is on item and unable to attend.
And my understanding is he did not communicate that to the board, that he was going off island, so we had no idea that he wasn't going to be present.
I think there's an email
Is there an
apparently,
email?
right? He sent an email.
He sent an email
To Jane. Yeah, I think I just saw the email basically.
Well, anyway, Dr. Santos is here because he's responding to the board's request to be here. So I don't know if the board wants to proceed, so just Dr. Santos here wants to wait for Mr. Zimmerman returns.
I think we should get Dr. Santos' information since he's here.
Okay.
Get it done from that.
Dr. Santos, please.
Sit down or stand up or?
It's whatever you're comfortable with.
Good afternoon. Hello. I guess I stand corrected. After consultation, and I spoke to several people with an IMT kind of licensure, cannot support Mr. Zimmerman at this time. So I'd like to withdraw my letter of support and also withdraw my letter for his IMT hours. I did work with him closely. I did a lot of pro bono consultation with some of my clients that were in Oasis. But at this point, I'd rather, since he's not here, I'd rather just withdraw my support from him.
Is this an issue where the hours just can't be remembered or they were never written down? So it just makes it hard to recover the data?
Well, it's been over a few years. I just, at this point, we did meet, and there was a lot of time. So I would say some of the hours have been, looked at and recovered. But, I don't feel real comfortable at this point, supporting any license for mine with my name on it.
Well, that being the case, then Mr. Zimmerman is going to have to provide the board with documented proof that he's obtained the 1,500 hours of required supervision hours. And like I said, as Ms. Palau had indicated earlier, he had identified two clinicians who supposedly provided that supervision. And when I talked to him about that, he said that he was going to contact these two clinicians and have them write a letter to the board attesting to the fact that they provided him with the required 1,500 hours of supervision. However, he has not done that, so his application for licensure is really very tenuous.
Okay, I think you better write him a letter and tell him all that. Does he know you were going to withdraw?
I'm not communicating with him.
Okay. I think he's got to know. We can't let him think that his application is complete when it isn't.
So, I guess this is weird, but when somebody's trying to document those hours that many years back, if Dr. Leon Guerrero or Hopper just sends a letter saying, oh yeah, he did 1,500 hours, is that good enough, or is that something that should have been documented, signed off, every so many hours?
The regulation isn't very specific about what has to be submitted to the board to prove 1,500 hours of supervision. That has varied from applicant to applicant. We've had applicants that have provided a full log of the hours, the dates, and so forth that total the 1,500. And then we've had letters from the clinical supervisors simply attesting to the fact that they provided the 1,500 hours without necessarily having a full log of those hours. And we've accepted that as well. So in the absence of any specific regulation that states what we need to do, we've been pretty flexible as far as accepting letters from the supervisors.
And with the log issue, I've reviewed some of those documents, but at this time I don't think it's complete. I'm sure there's 1,500 hours, but it's not quite enough to say that we should proceed. And I stand corrected.
Okay, so I agree with you. We'll prepare a letter to them. The issue.
You still got time to fix it if you can.
See, for me, let me just say this, is that it is the lapse of time. It's been a long time he graduated, and it's the hours that I don't recall the hours that he had, did the clinical supervisions. The normal run of things is that you graduated, you do your clinical hours, you have this, written. I don't have any problem if Dr. Hoffer and Dr. Leandro are still on island, because we can call them and ask them to come or to write a letter explaining the hours. But he was not able to provide that, but yet he has another clinician to ask for those, to say, I did all these hours. So that part of discrepancy is a problem for me. Problem for me also is that the lapse of time from graduation to the time you apply for license. The normal route of things is that you graduated, you apply for license, you do your hours and you apply for your license. Because in the meantime, all this length of time, what did you do?
Well, we can only assume that he wasn't practicing about licensing, that his job capacity did not involve performing individual marriage and family therapy without license.
Well, we don't know, right?
We don't know, right?
But I know that he has, I think he has a credential from ICRC as far as a drug and alcohol counselor. But IMMT is a different realm of services providing. It's more clinically oriented rather than drug and alcohol. So there's a problem there. So I don't know what to say about this, because I wish that things did not appear to be. The thing that bothered me has been the lapse of time, and then asking clinicians now to write who are not on Guam. Years ago. The proper thing to do, that's the reason why I asked that we have the rules and regulation, is that you log your hours, clinical hours, by like a timesheet. So that once you have, let's say January, you have these number of hours, it could be 20, and then your supervisor signed at the bottom. And, on February, or in March, let's say you didn't have. But there's a succession of time closely related to what you do with clinical hours. If I were to provide services and see patients, let's say, in January, and I haven't seen anybody until November, that's a question. What's going on over there?
Well,
So,
I think he should be asked to document his hours and maybe even account for what he was doing during the interim time period.
it was a time from, let's say, this year to this year. In the meantime, there was no documentation exactly as to what the hours are. Now, if this is an accredited program with, I can only talk about APA, American Psychological Association, you need a stringent hours. Those things have to be documented by, it's like a timesheet. It could be a monthly, it could be weekly, and sign off. Because you don't want to backtrack. You never know what did I do, how many hours did I do 2 years ago. You never submit a timesheet. After 2 weeks in a government setting, the timesheet is done with. It's just off, over, dead, You cannot backtrack. So I find that troubling at this point. Thank you, Dr. Santos, for clarifying things for us.
So thank you. Any other questions?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So, oh yeah. Mr. Paradis, would you like to write the letter to him as reflected by what the board discussion was? Okay. Thank you. Let's move on to new business. I don't understand this. You have the copies. There is a FOIA request from a Mr. Min W. Kim.
Freedom of information.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Okay. Because all requests, FOIA requests will go to the Attorney General for his action. Okay, the new applications. Move on to, is there a question that is IMFT, Jamela Santos.
Mel Santos is a new applicant for licensure under IMFT, and she's applying as for license by endorsement. She has a license in the state of, she has a state license. And her documentation and paperwork will also be in order. So you reviewed this.
I usually write it on top, the name of everybody. Okay.
And then the second new licensure under IMFT is Joe Bethakino. I've reviewed her today, and again, all her documentation is in order. She has all the required letters and documented supervision hours. In her case, she provided along. Contained where she documents all of the hours that she did with regard to her practice.
So that makes it really nice.
Yeah. City office.
And then the supervisor just
And she gets, her supervisor, Dr. Bill Ferris, who then signed off on all these with a letter accompanying the law. So she's okay.
I reviewed Tracy Cobb, who is from Texas. I don't know where's her application. So,
Was she out there before working for Disney?
no, she's new. Yeah, brand new. She's this initial application, taking the APPP. All the requirements are in, as you know, I write the names of people or recommendations, so we don't have to go backtrack. Yeah. So she's from. So this is in order. PA, Physician Assistant Rosalind Rama. Rosalind Rama, I reviewed her as well. Present? Oh, hello. Yes. She has her NCCPA. Also, the required ACLS and PALS was done. Expired 2013. So all her paperwork are in order. And she is currently licensed, expired March 2013 from West Virginia. So her application is in order as well. I recommend her for licensure. Next one is physical therapy. Robert Claros, who reviewed her.
I did. And I believe that I've also reviewed it too. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, I'm right. He has everything in.
next person is Arlene Datu, D-A-T-U, am I correct? Who review Arlene? Yeah,
She's okay.
you review her. So it would be good if you know, on the cover sheet, the one that you review and signed it, so we know we have a record. You're recommending her licensure approval?
Yes.
Okay, Arlene. Then we have respiratory therapy, Lisa Rainier.
I reviewed Lisa's Rainier's application. She has everything in order. She's a certified and registered respiratory therapist. She has a very impressive application, and I highly recommend her for approval.
Next, we have speech language of Amanda Henriksen.
And I recommended her.
So all her paperwork are in.
Yes. She even submitted fingerprints.
Okay. So I'd like to have a vote now, and let's go to the new application. Individual recommended for licensure are Jamela Santos and JoBeth Aquino for IMFT, Tracy Kopp for clinical psychology, Rosalind Rama for PA, physician assistant, Robin Claros for physical therapy, Arlene Datu for physical therapy, Lisa Rainier for respiratory therapy, Amanda Henriksen for speech language pathology. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor of those individuals that I have indicated for the various disciplines, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. So these individuals are doing that we move to have them.
Now, when they become new licensees, does it become effective January 2013?
No, because of the month, I mean, it's just a close with actually December. Because there is a part there called incorporated in the law. So they will be licensed immediately, approved by the board, that's up to date, and then will expire like the next cycle, which is December 31st, 2014.
But they won't need CNEs
No.
just for that one.
It's a new applicant, right? Right.
Well, make
Yeah.
sure.
Because it says prorated, but then, for example, if it's less than 24 months, accordingly. For example, if it's like last quarter, like in the spring, summer, you know, that their CE would be prorated, but they would be new applicant anyway. I mean, it would be like, you know, new and then renewal.
Just want to make sure they don't get caught.
Yeah, right. So in the letter, we'll be indicating that they were approved, that's up to date, and expired December 31st, 2014, the next cycle. Okay, we have also a CPA, a collaborative practice agreement with Rosalind Rama, the physician assistant. And the CPA, I reviewed the CPA, was signed by Dr. Maglonia and also Dr. Long at Express Care. So that is in place. As you know, that the CPA is required before they can prescribe any drugs under the supervision of the physician. And this, and it goes to the 3 boards on the CPA. So the first board is Allied Health Group. I will sign that if you approved it, and then she has to have the copy of the approved CPA to be forwarded to Program of Controlled Substances and Environmental Health at the Department of Public Health and Social Services. They're the one that monitor and manage all individuals prescribing medications. So her CPA is in order, signed by the 2 physicians. So I'd like to have a vote on the CPA.
So moved.
Second?
So, all in favor of approving CPA for Rosalind Rama, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, so her CPA, so I can sign it and then forward to the next two boards. Okay, so we have the renewal application on this agenda. We have a list. There seems to be some concern because their applicants does not have all the required documents, and there has been some discrepancy concerning about the questionnaire, and there's no also explanation. So there have been some difficulty by board members who review the applications, the renewals. And there are some, as because of the past, we have not checked on the renewals, the applicant, the licensees. Later on, we found out differently, and then it causes the board some concerns on the backtracking and the statements being made. So I think that before we can vote on the listing, and to be fair, I think that we need to kind of, because I haven't reviewed some of the applications as well. It's all of you, there's still a lot of work to be done. And also there's a lot of licensee has not turned in their renewal.
So the drop dead date
It's December 31. Their license is valid until December 31.
I'm also experiencing what you're saying. I have some applications that don't have supporting documents to what they listed on their application as far as their seniors. So I still have some applicants that I need to follow up with. I still need time to the applicants that are trying to go for renewal.
I have some concern. Oh, you first.
I've reviewed about 50 IMFT application renewals, and of that number, I've only been able to identify 3 that are deficient that I won't approve. But the vast majority of them comply with the requirements of renewing the license. So I haven't had problems, except for the 3.
All 5 audiology renewals to the letter.
The tricky part I'm seeing is on the online, because each online agency tends to give you certificates that are different than the other ones. But on this one right here, I just called them and checked it, they verified it. But it's not quite as easy as I thought it would be, because one applicant just gave a whole list of what he did, log in time, log out time, and then you download a sheet, and it's electronically signed by the people who do it. So when I contacted them, they verified it. But it wasn't a list of certificates for each class. It was just a list of classes and said who did it. So that was kind of suspicious at first. But then upon verification, it's easy. But I could foresee the online stuff being very helpful, but not very consistent as what we ideally would want, like a little certificate saying you took this class and you took the test. Because there are a lot of our private companies that are accredited by colleges and institutions, but they do it differently. It just takes a little more digging, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time for board members outside their, the normal board hours. I mean, we spend a lot of individual time to reviewing this. We have to come in, I came in already took a look at it. So I was going to say, instead of doing piecemeal now, is to wait until the next meeting.
So I have a question. Let's say somebody's just late for stupidity or laziness or whatever, and they just have their head in the clouds. We should have a list at the end of the last meeting of the ones who we know are in active practice who simply did not renew or didn't make it. Do we have a blanket cease and desist order that's sent out right then by the docs?
We have one. I did a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Dale Aldenfeld, because he did exactly that.
He just blew it off, right?
Yeah, he got it in about 8 days late, and then it turned out it was deficient. Exactly.
Because with the meeting being so close to the new year, if these people are not properly licensed on the 1st of January, they need to know. Well, the public needs to know, but they need to know until such time that they remedy that, they should not be practicing.
Well, I think, if you need to look at the renewal letter, it did say that
Right.
the value of it. People need to read, but I think that, I mean, to me, professional people, you need to, especially your license. I understand somebody, you're the one that said the license is so important. You don't read. I find that people don't really read. And
Well, yeah, actually, the renewal thing said to have everything in by the end of November.
Yes, because you know why? It's because
Right, review it, yeah.
because the board is then burdened with reviewing all the applications. That's the reason why. But there will be people that turn it in at the last minute. So as our close of business on 31st, if they're not, and we already met, and if they not turn it in, we're going to have to meet on January, the first meeting in January. But everybody knows that their license expired. So that's the reason why the letter says November 30th, because the board needs that time to review everything so that people will have a renewal license before December 30th, first.
But we're not meeting on December 31st, we're meeting before that.
Yeah, well, the 14th, we're going to give people time to turn things in. But then if necessary, we'll have to meet another, the following week and the following week to do that. So the board is making exceptions to people. Yeah, exactly. So it's not that, we're not performing our duty. In fact, we've made a lot of, exceptions to accommodate licensees. Yeah. Right.
So, can I suggest that the board vote to authorize the chairperson to acquire information as needed to flesh out an application?
Wait, say again?
I'll screw it, I'll say it wrong the second time. Vote to authorize the chairperson to acquire information as needed to flesh out applications for renewal.
Okay, and then should we also have a vote to authorize the chair to issue cease and desist orders for people who have not paid their deadline?
That would be like January 1st, 2nd or
So
something.
what about licensees who just choose not to renew their license and they just don't, they may not have any desire to practice?
Right.
They don't need a letter.
But see, for the individual that turn in the 11th hour on December 31st, we meeting on that following Friday, which is the 4th or the 5th of January, to discuss that.
Yeah. But they shouldn't be practicing this.
Oh, well, they should know
Yeah,
they're not
let's just say that the chairperson can issue a cease and desist letter as appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah.
We aren't going to bother telling somebody who just doesn't care to read it. Yeah.
Okay, why don't we combine those into one motion?
What is your motion?
That the chair, how did you word that, Dave?
The chair be authorized to acquire information as needed to complete or flesh out renewal application.
And to issue cease and
And
desist.
to issue cease and desist orders to any persons who don't have the complete application submitted by December the 31st, where appropriate.
Okay, I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor on the motion, as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None.
I have a question. Why is acupuncture review license only in the agenda? No agenda in the acupuncture license.
Have you reviewed them?
I don't have any agenda. There's no meeting. There's no. Right? There's no acupuncture. It's not one.
Did you come in and review?
Those are renewals. There's no new application.
There is, but I have seen
Are you talking about a new applicant?
no.
Renew?
The one we just did is our new application.
It's a new.
New.
Yeah, application. We didn't.
We didn't do
Yeah.
renewals.
We'll vote on the
Yeah.
renewals
Yeah.
next meeting.
Because we're talking about that we need to gather all together and have it at the next meeting, which is what, the 14th?
The fourth of the.
No, the 14th of next meeting, December.
14th.
The 14th because 7th is a holiday.
So we're not gonna review for the.
Right, right, so we'll have to, yeah,
Right.
okay?
So you need to look through all of them to make sure they're appropriate. And then the other board member, you do this.
Yes. Right,
So next meeting,
yes. But, did you review any application?
I submitted November, first week in November.
No, all of the.
All of your constituents.
All the countries.
Yeah.
The renewals.
Did you review it? Did you review it?
Yeah.
Well, then you're supposed to.
I have nothing, that's why I asked her.
Did they come in at all?
Oh,
We've been coming in.
Jane, did Winnie come in?
Yes, there is.
How many?
Why, I don't know what counts.
Okay.
But there is for review.
Okay,
So you didn't come in before the board.
Yeah, we've all been coming in to do that on our own time to review the application. You have to do it on your own time to come in.
So after that, I can do it.
Yeah, yeah. And
Until you
Jane
come
will
in,
have-
right, she has them.
Jane will have-
Can I have?
Yeah.
Okay, is there any more discussion concerning about the renewal, what we need to do and all that?
I have a question. I have this one applicant that is getting his CUs.
You talk about renewal,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah, you know.
Respirator.
Okay, I have this applicant that has CUs. He's getting his CUs online from, I guess it's under the speech and language, but it offers one respiratory care CU, and it's on Casimir, and Casimir is a valve that you guys use as well as a valve that we use in our patients. But all his CUs is about Casimir for the neonate, the adult, the pediatric, and it's just 99% of his CUs are coming from that. And I don't know if I should accept it.
In my opinion, is it ASHA approved? Passenger?
I
have to look first. That means American Speech and Hearing Association approves certain CE.
I believe it is. I'll
Okay.
let you see it.
So, and then the second thing is Passenger makes the valves, and they're giving courses to use the valves. I suppose, for respiratory therapists, they need to know about Passenger and the settings and whatever for the valves.
But he has one Casimir in the home care, Casimir in the ICU, Casimir in the emergency room. It's all Casimir valves.
Yeah, and
99% of it. I don't think
these
it's,
are free. These are free. CE.
yeah, and it allows for a respiratory CU, but to
You're
me,
concerned that they're not legitimate or that
no,
they're
it's not. It's
redundant?
just that it's all Casimir. 99%
Well, I
of
don't
this.
think it's our position to question what choice of CEUs the licensee chooses. They might choose, any given licensee might choose an area that they feel they need additional knowledge on, for example. And so, as long as it's a legitimate CEU, then I don't think it should be our position to question the amount in any given topic.
Well, if you take a look at the CE, the breakdown of CEs, there's so many hours is your primary, your discipline. And then there's so many hours allowable, 10, I guess, in related discipline. So
But
that is something
The
that.
problem would be the overlap of disciplines. For instance, in chiropractic and PT, the seminars for PT and chiropractor are completely overlapped. The information is part of touching the body, right? So if he's getting speech and language, but it's applicable,
It's speech and language applicable to respiratory.
so I would say that would be fine.
Yeah.
It's going to come up quite a bit. You kind of wish they would do it better,
Yeah.
But we have one kind of similar to that.
Vince kind of said in regard to a different discipline, but we don't have rigid rules about what's acceptable, what isn't. And so